Hello and welcome back. I am again here live. This is the fourth episode, fourth segment, whatever it is you want to call it. It is. I'm super excited to be here with you again as we are moving through the day, and I'm hoping that you are here with me for the Cosmic Evolution Summit. We have the fourth speaker that I will bring in very shortly. Just getting everyone situated, getting myself situated. I'm trying to figure out why my table looks lopsided, which has thrown me off course for a minute because I had to move because there was so much sunlight coming in before I couldn't see my screen. Anyway, I'm here now and just wanting to ask you if you are watching live, just to go ahead and say hi to me in the live comments so I know. Welcome to all of you who are here on the Zoom room. And I just want to put it out there again, if you are watching live and you would like to come and join the Zoom room, to take a moment to send the other speakers a message letting them know that you would like to join the Zoom room, and they'll bring you in because there has been a change in the Zoom link earlier this morning. So you may have the old link and trying to figure out why you can't get on. It's because the old link is no longer available. Also, in addition, note that at about 4:20, we will come off the live. We will turn off the recording and we will go into the Q&A where we have access to the actual speaker. So if you want access to the speaker, I highly encourage you to get that Zoom link so you can come join us during that time. Now I'm trying to see if my speaker is here with me right now. Let's see. Where is she? There she goes. Krista, can you come on camera and then I will bring you on with me as well. All right, she might not be available just yet. Anyway, no worries, no worries. So let me just, again, as I've been doing for the last couple of speakers, is pulling a card, giving some insight to all that there is. Krista wants to really throw me off course because she wants to share something. Ha ha ha, Krista. All right, Krista. I'm going to pull a card for the energy, getting myself grounded. I'm sure I have Kitty in the background laughing at me right now. Because there's that one speaker. There we go. Let's see what the card of the day. Card of the day. Interesting insight for the day. Let me pull it up. We're coming out of the theme of the yellow and we're moving into the pink. Those of you who know anything about your chakras, the pink represents your high heart. This is about having compassion for self and others. And when you can have compassion, compassion is the key. The word is communication. How are you communicating? Are you communicating to actually respond to something so you're in your head and you're really not paying attention to what the person's actually saying? Or are you communicating with the process of learning to listen and fully be present while you communicate? The number 12, such a perfect number. When we talk about the number 12, it is about your spiritual evolution. It's your imagination, your dream state. It's working through your shadow work, getting past that shadow aspects of things. It reduces down to a 3, which is all about the experience of what you are communicating about. So this is powerful insight that's showing up. And again, before I can bring the speaker in, just want to remind you again that if you are watching live, which I'll take a note in a minute, who's watching there live right now, I have my notes pulled up.
I am hearing nothing.
Right, Mom?
Yep.
Oh, you're not muted though.
I am on mute, but I can't go in because she's recording.
Oh, wait, hold on.
What?
And I can just click it maybe. Oh, wow.
All right, I have muted some who are in the background just to keep it quiet. So again, once my speaker is actually present where I can see her face, I will bring her in. It's always fun. And of course, those of you who are watching on Zoom with us, you're welcome to turn your cameras on so I can see you. The audience can't because I have a setup that only I can see you. So if you want me to see you, I would love to see you. All right, Krista, if you are with me, if you can turn on your camera. Yes, I see you're here, but I don't see your, oh, there you go. There she goes. There we go. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Krista.
Sorry, we were having problems and my tech department came zooming in. Thankfully, he has the day off today.
It's all good. I love it. So I'm going to introduce you. I could have done that while I was waiting for you to come in, but that wouldn't make sense. So here we go. Here we go. So as you all know, this is Krista. Krista, I'm not even going to say your last name. I'm going to have you say your last name once I'm done, only because I know I will mess it up. So anyway, Krista, she is an intuitive healer, Reiki master teacher, and mindfulness advocate dedicated to guiding individuals toward a balanced, positive, and radiant life. Through transform coaching programs, immersive workshops, soul nurturing retreats, and empowering certifications. She helps those ready to embrace their unique journey and become the best version of themselves. In a world full of distractions, finding balance is crucial. She believes in the power of mindfulness, the healing energy of crystals, and the boundless possibilities that emerges from cultivating inner peace and positivity. As she puts, if you're ready to enhance your well-being and explore the wonders of mindfulness and crystal healing, let's connect and illuminate your path to joyful, purposeful life. Krista, welcome. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. How are you, my love?
I am well, Joanne. How are you?
I am doing very well. Getting through this amazing journey that we are on here today.
Yes, you've been doing marvelous. I want to take a pause and just, give props to you. You have been awesome. I've been with you guys most of the way through Facebook. Wasn't always out back here in Zoom. But yeah, you guys, you've been doing a great job. So I want to give you props and gratitude and thanks for putting this together. And Kitty, I want to throw some love out there for you, girlfriend, because I've been seeing you. I know what you've been doing behind the stage and behind the scenes. So thank you so much.
Yes, Kitty does have the most important job here, making sure
Yes.
technology is working, making sure she's connecting with everyone who wants to be here, just due to the little hiccup we had earlier this morning. But since then, everything seems to be working out really well. So I want to dive in and share that today Krista is going to be speaking. Her topic is unloading the mysteriousness of crystals, formation, properties, and application. That's a loaded one. I love crystals myself.
I know that's
I do.
that's one of the connectors that we had right off the bat is crystals.
Yes.
Yeah, and numbers. So, before you ask a question,
Yes.
so I know that you gave us numbers earlier, the 10, 9, 8, right? And I love it. I love it. And then so I added it up. Do you know it adds up to 27? You probably already know this.
Which numbers are we speaking about? The ones from the cards or?
The one I missed the cards. I had to go in and reboot. But no, from the Cosmic Summit, the date, the very, very first numbers you shared with us this morning. And so the 10 from today's date, the 10, the 9, and the 8. So I added it up. It equates to 27. Today's the 27th. I'm like, oh my gosh, how amazing is that? And then, all right, so I'm going to throw some OG stuff about you and I. 4 years ago today, you and I did our very first 3 Crones in the Woo Woo podcast with
Today?
Gail.
It's 4 years ago today?
4 years ago today, girlfriend.
Oh my no, I did not know that. Well, anniversary to us. Happy
Anniversary to us.
Yes, to us. And of course, the third crone, that was a part of that amazing journey that the three of us were on. And
Yeah.
of course, your journey with the three crones extended beyond my stay. So it was
Yeah.
a magnificent journey you were on and did all you did. So I'm loving that. I did not even realize that today was the 4th year anniversary of that.
It is. And we have since completed that journey and everything else. But I was like, I have to mention both of those things because I was like, it rolls in with the energy of so much of what was happening today,
Yes, it
you
does.
know.
So now we're going to turn our attention over to Krista in
Mhm.
regards to some questions, because we're all curious, of course. Yeah, and the first question I have, which is a loaded one, how different types of crystals believed to influence emotional and spiritual well-being? And can you provide examples of crystal commonly used for specific purposes? So before Krista starts that, I recommend that for everyone who's watching, whether you're in the Zoom or watching live, rather than trying to jot down notes here, just pay attention. You can always come back and re-listen and then jot down some notes, but just pay attention because the wisdom that Krista's going to share, you don't want to miss it by writing a note. You can jot down, you can do a bullet if you want, but just really pay attention. So go ahead, Krista. What's the answer to that insight?
All right. So I'm going to answer it because I'm going to answer it to the best of what I remember. The question being, so crystals can relate to us on both an emotional and a spiritual, as that question said. How does that happen? Well, if you really think about how our emotions are connected, and in our world, we'll call it the world of woo, we link these emotions to our spiritual path and our journey, and all of them is of course connected to our energy centers. So how does it work? I'm going to keep it simple by making it something that you can really understand. We're going to actually use an easy crystal. I brought some friends. This is my rose quartz. Rosie is her name. And Rosie is a wonderful quartz crystal that is great to use for love. And I use this as a great example because it's something that, one, the world always needs more of. B, we never give ourselves enough of. And C, I'm not going to go A, B, and then 3. That's ridiculous. A, B, and C. It's the one that it's a plentiful and easily found. So emotionally, I've said we're going to relate it to love. It also relates to compassion, and it relates to and it can be calming as well. And it's a quartz crystal, so which means it has a great great amplification ability. So in terms of it connecting to from our emotional to our spiritual side, love is a high vibration, and it is a vibration that brings us a lot of joy. When we're in that vibration of love, which is a really high one, it is easy for us to be happy, live in that state of happiness, abundance, and in like a perpetual state of joy. Some people may say that, that's not a reasonable thing, or that's unattainable. I'm telling you, a little crystal such as rose quartz can actually help. Now, does it mean you have to have it on you? Well, it helps if you do. However, as long as it's in your space, because the really cool thing about crystals is if you look at it, you touch it, you taste it. Yeah, some of them, yeah, you can taste. Okay, I won't do it, but you can let. Sorry. So, I've had a cold recently, so there's a little bit of fun in that. But you can use all your senses in order to bring balance into that life. So, as loaded as that question was, it's actually a very simple answer because it is something that is really quite easy to do. You just have to be open to the possibilities. Is there another question, my friend?
I love that. I was just so caught up on the rose quartz and the love and the fact that you can taste it. And
You can actually. So I did an experiment. I'm going to go down that a little bit. When I was going through my certified crystal healing course, back in, let's see, I did that back in 2014. I did an experiment. I took 7 crystals, different crystals, and I think 6 or 7. I'd have, yeah, doesn't matter. It was 6 or 7, and I took them and I filled up glasses of water. And I put a different crystal in each glass. Now, understand, because I love to do science experiments, and this is how you can add the science into what you do. One, they were all non-toxic crystals that I used. And 2, I did a glass that had no crystal in it, and I left it in the same place at the opposite end of the counter, because I understand that crystal energy can radiate. But I left it in the glasses for about 8 hours. It was while my family was all gone, kids were at school and everything, and everybody in the family taste tested. And I wrote down, and everybody gave me a different descriptor, and I made them drink the plain water as well, because I was like, okay, now I want you to know that this was out for the same length of time as this. And it was, I can't remember if I used bottled water or tap water. I have it written down somewhere, but it was really kind of cool because we could actually taste the difference
I think that's,
of the crystals.
yeah, I think that is wild. And in regards to, like, especially like the rose quartz crystal, and I would assume more like tumble stones that you would put in the water versus rough
Yeah.
crystals. Yeah.
Yeah, I use tumbles.
Yes. And using, when we talk about the rose quartz energy, tasting that love from the rose quartz. So that is very powerful. And I'm sure Krista's going to suggest that you all go and get yourself a rose quartz tumble stone and
Yeah.
stick it in the water and start tasting that love. It might actually be better than actually grabbing a sweet food to bring in the love. So there might be something to that, Krista.
There
Might be something
is.
to that. Yes. All right. Next question on the poll here is, what role do intuition and meditation play in working with crystals, and how can individuals effectively incorporate these practices into their lives? So that's basically 2 questions in one, but Krista's got this.
I do have this. I do. So, intuition, when I'm working with clients, I'll start with it as when I work with clients and I'm having a session with them. I would love to say that I have the systematic way of knowing which crystals I'm going to use. Ultimately, I do. I have my no-brainers should that be the case. But overall, it's an intuition base. Because what I do is I go in, or I come to my crystals and I'm like, so who has a message for this person, like if I was working with Joanne, who has a message for Joanne today, or who wants to come play with me while we work with Joanne today, whatever the case may be. And intuitively, I follow the trail of energy of, which crystals are saying me, and they all say in different ways. Crystals are very much like individuals. They each have their own personality. I've been working with crystals for a long time, and I find that I have some that are shy. I have some that are very very what is it? Gregarious. I have some that like to play tricks. I have some that like to be seen. It all just depends. So when I'm having my students start working with crystals, I teach them intuition, how to follow their intuition, how to trust their senses. And one of the first things that we do, and you all can do this. Now, I can see the comments that are popping up, at least through Zoom. I don't know if it is coming up on Facebook, but if you can, write down if you have crystals, and if you've ever bought crystals where you've actually used your intuition. Where you've gone in and it's like, I know that this is a crystal, right? And let me know. You can say, me, yes, I have. No, I've never done it that way. I only buy by, looks. We all buy crystals for some reason or another. They speak to us. They look beautiful, or it's something I read about and I feel like I need to have. We all have these things that inspire us to get the crystal. When I take my students, and people have gone with me on buying trips, and I always say, don't, you can look, and I'm not opposed by looking, but use your non-dominant hand. And this is where the intuition comes. Use your non-dominant hand and just run that non-dominant hand. And when you start to feel new sensations or different sensations under there, start paying attention. Might be cold, might be warm tingles, it might be like feathers. I have other people that it's like they say, oh no, I start to hear things. Or I start to see colors of light, or I start the taste in my mouth shifts. That is your intuition working for you, because it is your senses heightening in that moment, and to pay attention. It's the same when you're going to work with a crystal. If you have them at home, how do you know what crystal to work with? Well, follow your intuition. You don't always have to follow what a book says, because I'm going to tell you this. It's kind of like kids. The crystals haven't read the book. When you were raising kids, when you had the baby, everybody gets the baby books. And you're like, my baby's crying. I'm doing everything that's in the book. It's not working. Well, the baby didn't read the book. Well, the crystals haven't read the book either, which means the crystal is going to work for you. It could work a different way for you. Mm. I've had followers with me for years, and I have some that have said that crystals for them work in the opposite than what might work for others. So for example, a root or a grounding stone for them, they feel like is more of a high energetic connecting stone. Whereas a high energetic connecting stone for me is more like a grounding stone for them. So that's why understanding your intuition can be so important when working with crystals.
Yes, I truly believe that. I know my first experience with working with crystals, working with the mentor at the time, she would give me one crystal during the
Mhm.
session, and then I'd go home. And of course, I'd research to find out what more the crystal does. And one of the things I do when I work with my students is I encourage them not to buy their crystals online, especially for their very first introduction to crystals. Go to a store
Mhm.
and walk into the store and just walk around. Like for me, I walk in the store and energetically I'm pulled to a direction in the store to a crystal that I need
Mhm.
work on.
Yeah.
Not that I'm looking to buy necessarily, but the crystal that I need. And that's tapping into the intuition and being more open to the possibility that yes, you might have been sent to the store like I do with my clients. I tell them I like for you to pick up X, Y, and Z. However, also go with the intention that you may be called to pick up something else. Pick up that one too because you need it for something, and we'll discover what it is. So I'm loving that whole process of the intuition and again, for those who may not even know how to work with their intuition, working with crystals can help activate the intuition. Yes.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's almost like you can't help it. It is one of those it can be one of those in your face. Now I know some people it they'll say, but I don't feel what you feel. And I'm like, that's okay. You don't have to feel what I feel. How does it make you feel? What is it that you're sensing? So you just brought up going into a store, right? Going crystal shopping. Have you ever walked into a crystal store and immediately like turned around and walked out?
Oh yes, I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah.
Mostly from my experiences, there was I had it I like to call that like a crystal reaction where it was just too overwhelming for me at that
Hmm.
moment to be in that store, so I had to leave. What I find for me now is that when I do go into a crystal store, there has to be very few people in that store. So yeah,
Yes.
I can really take on some personal time with the crystals and not take on other people's energies with the crystals because that can be
Yeah.
overwhelming for me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, it really can. I've also walked into stores or that have and turned around and walked out because the store owner or the keeper of the store doesn't take care of the crystals.
Yes, that too.
And they're very sad.
Yes.
And I mean, sometimes I can go in and help with that. And I've been known to do that. But most of the time it's just an overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, they need to really,
Yes, it makes you sad. Yes.
yeah, it
You want
needs
to
to get
starting to
cleared
cry.
out.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And for me, being the crystal person that I am, I'm always sad because it's like they're people, the crystals are sad that they aren't working, that they aren't able to do their job of being able to help the people that they're meant to help. And so, yeah, so for me, I really do view crystals. Yeah, I view them in a very unique way.
Yes. Yes. So let's talk about next thing. Next concept here is can you explain the concept of crystal healing
Hmm.
thought to interact with the body's energy system,
Yeah.
such as chakras and auras.
Yes. So there are many, we have our bodies are made up of several systems. Not just, I'm not just referring to our circulatory system, the bone structure, the muscle. I'm not talking about just the physical side of us, I'm talking about the energetic side of us as well. And so when I'm teaching about Reiki, or when I'm teaching about crystal healing, or when I'm doing teaching mindfulness and meditation concepts, it's important that people understand that um, Reiki works with our outer energy, or our auric energy, the outer fields. It goes in, but it goes from the out to the in. Whereas crystal energy, because it has that dominant oscillatory rate, which is it's something that can be measured. It's the vibration. It works with us on this physical. It goes from the physical to the out. And so when you're working with that, it can be a really fun, powerful experience, and very relaxing experience. And now there was another part of that question, and I'm just like, it's okay, I'm gonna roll with it. But when you're doing that, I've had people come to me with for crystal healings, and they're really curious, because they're like, for example, I'll use the rose quartz. It's a substantial size. It's a substantial size rock. And I'll put it like on their heart. And, when I show them afterwards, they look at me and they go, wow, I didn't even feel that. The weight of it on them. And it's because our bodies, like the body's energy and the crystal energy, the way I'm being shown is it's like they hug each other. So, in yumminess.
Yes.
I know this is like so woo-woo. I'm like going, I had this all like in my mind. It was going to be all this balance of the science and the crystals, but it's like all that wants to come out right now is the yumminess of it
And
all.
it's all good. It's coming out exactly how we need to hear it, how we need to receive it. So yes, do not, what I'm hearing is do not try to make this, I'm hearing the word, don't make it flat. Do exactly what you're doing, make it, put it out there, put the woo-woo into this, because again, when we think about crystals,
It is.
anyone who knows about crystals, and maybe this might be the very first time they're hearing about crystals, I want to keep it real to what crystals are. My philosophy when it comes to crystals is if someone's wearing crystals and they're not understanding the properties of crystals and the energy that crystal can help them with, it's just a beautiful piece of jewelry. So it's really important for us for Krista to share what crystals really mean, the energy of it. And yes, it may sound like woo-woo, it may sound like, oh my God. And leading us right into the next amazing question, leading right into the woo-woo energies, it's when we work with crystals, what way can crystals be used in rituals or spiritual practices, and how do their properties propose and enhance the practice?
So no, you can use them in all of that. So here's how, in reality for me, and in my experience, crystals have always enhanced everything I've done. However, I understand that crystals are amplifiers. So think of it this way. Let me share with you a few things that you use crystals in every day. I'm going to go down some techie side. So whether you're watching me on your computer, your cell phone, your tablet, your big screen TV, guess what is involved? Crystals, right? Long ago, radios, the old radios, the crystal radio. Yeah, that was a quartz crystal. And crystals are used in medicine with x-rays, certain types of x-rays. Crystals are used in technology. Your old watches. My husband has a gorgeous watch, and it has these amazing crystals that you can see in it that are called, I think they're sapphires. Yeah, those are crystals too, people,
Mhm.
right? So just to give you an idea of what crystals do in our everyday life. Now, so when you're thinking of crystals in terms of working them in a ritual, if you are having a really bad day, a negative day, and rather than taking a moment and grounding your energy, bringing yourself back to center, you just jump right in and decide, I am going to do X, Y, or Z with my crystals. And the bad day just amplifies itself.
Yes, oh no.
That's something that happens. I had a neighbor who um, who who had taken crystals, who had bought crystals and was in not a very positive state of mind. And it was very interesting to watch how things unraveled at a rapid rate because that's what was amplified. So what I do like to use a pinch of caution when I'm telling people. When you start using crystals in your life, especially if you want to do a ritual or if you want to create a grid, or if you want to, I love grids. I love creating grids. Oh, they're one of my most favorite things to do.
If you can talk just a little bit about a grid, because there may be some that may not be familiar with what a grid is. If you can add on maybe at the end what a grid is, that would be great.
I will add on what a grid is at the end because I just love them. They're
Yeah.
amazing. So when you do that, you need to focus on what an intention is. And sometimes when I'm working again with students and even clients, because when I work with my clients, it becomes a teaching, it becomes very much teachable moments because I want to empower that person. So one of the things I suggest is when you start working with your crystals is that you always ask a crystal, hey, are you willing to play with me? I always like my crystals to play with me. Long ago, I used to ask them to work with me. And then it was really kind of funny. Not a couple years back, more than a couple years back now. They all my crystals kind of must have had a meeting because they were like, we want you to play with us, not work with us.
I love that. Yes. Yes.
I know it sounds kind of funny, but so I asked the crystals, hey, are you willing to play with me? And then I ask them if they're willing to work this, whatever my intention is. We're going to go with, I'm making a crystal grid, and we'll say I'm making a crystal grid about love and compassion, and I'm sending it to the world. So we'll use rose quartz. And what you do is that you set your crystals, I try not to use more than 3 different types of crystals. So in this love grid, I would use rose quartz, I would use clear quartz, and I would use amethyst in a love grid. And I would write down what the intention was. I would use a 3x5 card. Actually, maybe I'll do that. If you want your name put into a love grid, y'all just put it in and I'll go back and take a look. Let me know. Here it is. I'm creating things off the bat.
There we go.
I love creating these love grids, love and compassion. And you set the intention and you write your intention out, and then you write the names. And if it's not names, individual names, if it's, like Ukraine or Israel and Gaza, or, if it's, a different place, then you can, you can specify that as well. And then you make the grid, and I'll show a picture of this grid I'll make, so you guys will know, with the intention, and then you run it. You activate it, and then you run it, and 8 days. This one's going to run 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 days. So this grid is going to run 8 days. And so every day I'm gonna I like jumpstart it again. I don't want to say I reactivate it because it's activated. I just jumpstart it, and it sends this beautiful energy out to the world. And but the key with using that or doing something like that is that my intention, my alignment has to be genuine. I don't have to be necessarily happy when I do it. I just have to have compassion and love in my heart and in my intention when I set this up.
Mm.
Right. And each time I approach the grid, and I love doing them, and they're so much fun. Oh, there, a grid, a photo just appeared in the Zoom. Thank you. Yeah, that's a quasi grid that I've set up already.
And Krista, if you want to write down the 4 names that commented in the chat regarding one of their names on the grid, it would be Barbara, Tracy, Erica, and I believe Kevin, your husband.
Yes, it is Barbara, Tracy, and that's Kevin, my husband.
And Erica as well.
And Erica.
Yes, and anybody else who wants Kitty, I think you said yes.
Oh, Kitty, great.
Anybody else, write in the chat that you want your name on the grid.
Yeah, I would love to. And yeah, because I this would be so much fun. And what I'll do is I'll take a picture, and I will post it on my Dimensional Healing with Krista Facebook page. So make sure that you're following me there, and I will set it up.
Add Sandra to the list as well.
Yeah.
And what the heck, you might as well add my name to the list too.
Oh, good. I was going to say, and Joanne, what about you, my dear? What about you?
I'm going to throw myself in there too. Yes. And let's not forget that this Saturday coming up, we have the panel discussion. So Krista, I don't know if that's going to be too soon, because you did say this was going to be an 8-day grid where you'll have to do what you're doing. So if it's too soon, we could talk about that grid on that discussion as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I also want to put it out there too, for those who are watching on the Facebook Live, if you would like your name in the grid, please type the word grid in the comments on Facebook, so I know that you're speaking of the grid. So anyone who's watching live with us during the live show, so if you're watching this later on the replay and you write the word grid in there, you sort of expired the time. So this is right now. This is the benefits of being here with us live. So, okay, so we have Cheryl, who also wants to be a part of the grid.
Excellent.
Yes. This is the benefits of being awake, people, being alert, being there's reasons why we have to show up, because we get to participate in the things of the now. So if you're watching this later, anyways. So anyway,
no, that's for sure. So yeah, no. Oh, and then I see another name.
Yeah, Gregory, I think it is.
Yep, it is Gregory.
He's your son, if I'm correct.
Yeah, actually, and I'm surprised my other son, and Zachary too. There we go, and Zachary, who is now home as well. So both my sons are home out of the Navy. Yay! Oh, and Genevieve is in. Yay, Jen. Awesome. I love it. So yeah, you will see intention. This is, by the way, what we are creating, doing this all of us talking and you guys interacting, this is setting the intention up. This is setting the excitement up. This is what happens when we all get together and your energy becomes part of this. So this is awesome. Yeah, my crystals are already getting
Yes, and I
excited
I
about
just
this.
want to put it out there one last time because I'm just sort of scanning through who's with us on the Zoom page. Please,
Mhm.
if you're with us on the Zoom page and if you have not asked Krista to put your name on this grid, please go ahead and do so. Now, of course, if you're with us in a Zoom, you may actually be with us during the Q&A. And if Krista's okay with asking at that time,
I
then
will.
we'll ask again when we're in real time together. So let's move this on because there's so much more we want to talk about, unless, of course, we just get stuck on this grid. But there's so many other questions that I really want to go into with Krista with the world of crystals.
Yep.
Next one we have going on is how do the metaphysical properties of crystals intersect with the physical properties, and how can individuals use crystals to enhance their well-being or personal growth?
Yeah. So, all right. And I actually, this one, yeah, this is a really good question. So the metaphysical side and the physical side of a crystal is the metaphysical is the woo side. All right. And the physical side is the science side. All right.
Well, add to the
And
science. No, I'm kidding. I like the woo-woo. Let's say with the no, I'm kidding. Go
yeah,
ahead.
let's just stick with the woo. However, one of the things in my experience of now working with crystals and actually having the opportunity to go mine recently, crystals, is understanding the both is really kind of it's really powerful. So I'm going to start with the physical side in terms of structure. So whenever you see a crystal, I'm using can you see this? This is a quartz point, and I'm hoping you guys can see it. It's a beautiful quartz point that I have. So the physical appearance of a crystal, minus tumblies because they've been altered. And anything that's carved has been altered, like a sphere, an animal, and very, hearts and things like that. But if it's in its natural form, I want you to understand that at its the little teeny tiny molecular part of it, it looks the same. So believe it or not, if you looked at this under a microscope at its, we'll say cell structure, that's the wrong word. I can't think of the little tiny molecule of it. It will look like a point. It'll look like hundreds of thousands of little points in order to become this shape. It's the same if you look at this. This is a piece of raw black tourmaline. And you see those little tubes that it has. So at its physical structure, this is what it looks like. Now, what does it mean in terms of the metaphysical side? I really wish I had brought down a blue lace agate, but I forgot to do that. So we're going to use the black tourmaline. So you see how the black tourmaline has the striations and up and it can be up and down or long ways, whichever way you go. That's the way the energy of that crystal runs. All right. So when you're working with a crystal, we'll go back to using the point. So if you're meditating with a crystal point, if you put it in your hand and you point it out, the energy goes away from you. If you're meditating with it and the point is pointing towards you, the energy is coming towards you. All right.
Just I have well, I know I should say this for the Q&A, but I'm gonna ask it here.
Go ahead.
specifically on the one you just showed, because there are many people who do wear point crystals. And
Yes,
when they're
there are.
wearing it, if they're
Mhm.
wearing it, if they're wearing it upward versus downward, I mean, which would be the best way to wear it if they're wearing it on a necklace and that necklace cannot be changeable where
I'll be honest, that depends on the wearer. And
okay.
I think it really and truly does. There was a time that I thought that it mattered one way or another.
Mhm.
If I was going to wear a point on a necklace, and I own one point and it pointed down. And this is really what, because it was a Lemurian crystal point,
Mhm.
pendant, and it did point down. And this experience is what made me understand that it does depend on the wearer. For me, wearing it so it pointed down, I felt like that I was channeling down, right? There was a time where I thought I needed to wear double terminated. That means a point on each end so that it would connect me up and down. So I would be in complete alignment. However, the Lemurian I wore, even though it was only a pointed crystal down, I somebody's in my books. Thank you. Even though it only pointed down,
Thank you, Kim.
it lined me up that way.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really super cool. Um, but I love that question because my mind was changed by wearing a point.
Yeah. And I think the takeaway with that one would be also for the wearer, what the
Yeah.
wearer's intention is. So again, when we are wearing our crystals as jewelry,
Yeah.
is mindfulness of why we're wearing what we're wearing and what we're looking to call in
Yeah,
or
exactly.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. I have that every day. I ask my crystals, what do I need to wear today?
Yes. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, just in lieu of time, because we're really at that point where we're going to be coming off live and moving into the Q&A space for our quiet time. Krista, if you can share with us what your complimentary giveaway is and what your paid offer is, I'd appreciate that.
Yes. So I even wrote it down. Here we go. So my complimentary is a crystal meditation and intention 10-page tool where it will talk you through the meditation of meditating in general with any crystal. However, in this tool, in this little booklet, there are 3 crystals that that it suggests: rose quartz, amethyst, and clear quartz. And you'll be able to download that. And then my offering, and actually it's kind of shifted for those who are online with us right now. So it is a 21-day gratitude challenge that will start on November 1st. And it will run through November 21st. And you'll have 2 options and 2 choices that you can select from. Both do include a crystal bowl meditation. But there's one that will include also a 30-minute group chakra healing. That is the $77 package, if you will. And that also includes weekly group calls. And then so that will include that plus a couple of other support things. It is like going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I love doing a gratitude. I always do gratitude stuff in the month of November, not just because it's Thanksgiving, but because it's the end of the year. And I think that November is a great time to give thanks for all that has occurred earlier in the year. But for everybody, and you need to write this down, I am offering from today for those who are watching our event a 27% because of the date and the number, which, oh, by the way, adds to 9, a discount, 27% discount on both packages. Your code is Cosmic Summit, all caps.
And that's only for those who are watching with us here on Zoom and those
Yep.
watching live. So
Yep.
once again, if you happen to catch this on the replay, this offer is not available on the replay. So again, as they say nicely, you snooze, you lose. Sorry.
Exactly.
Anyway,
and it-
Krista, if you can share with us one word you would like the audience to take away with, what's that word? What would that word be?
I'm going to say gratitude.
Wow.
I am grateful for everyone coming and spending time and taking time out of their Sunday to be here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am grateful for Joanne for doing what she's doing. And I am grateful for just having the opportunity to share my passion with you.
And we are so grateful that you showed up today to share your wisdom about crystals and all the woo-woo behind it, the science too. And with all that being said, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to say bye-bye to Facebook Live. And again, if you have not had a chance to get that Zoom link to come join us on Zoom, well, maybe next time. Until we meet again, people, enjoy the day. Bye-bye for now.